And most people don't listen. They've done
Hmm.
studies on this where they say that when two people are talking, they've actually done studies on this, that 45% of the time that the person who is who's listening, who's supposed to be listening, is not listening at all. They're thinking about what to say. So they
Hmm.
hear something, and all of a sudden you see that I like bulb goes, yeah, I want to say something. So they're thinking about what they're going to say. Another 45% of the time, they're looking where they can butt in to the conversation. So
Okay.
90% of the time, people aren't being heard. And obviously, if if you want to be heard, you want to be heard 100% of the time, but the people aren't listening. So it's great that you're taking those type of classes, or you're getting better at that, because that is something that most people have a challenge with.
Yeah.
Content writing, I will tell you that I get approached, like for my companies, there's a lot of content that I put out there, and I get approached by content writers all the time, and all they're telling me about is how great they are, how cheap they are. I don't like to go cheap. So when contrarians assume that only people want to get cheap writers, no, I want to get good writing, but I
Mm.
also want to get people that are wanting to know about me, my business, my wants, my needs, my desires, right? So even
Yes.
if you approach somebody as a content writer, this is obviously for your majority of audience, I'm sure. You lead with, hey, what can I do for you? What
Hmm.
do you need? What are some of the challenges you're facing, right?
Yes.
And it's amazing the engagement you can have, because I'm rarely ever approached by people that write content that way. It's always like, hey, this is what I offer, $5 an
Yeah.
$5 an article. That's it. I'm like, okay, well, that really doesn't tell me anything about you.
Yeah.
So everyone's selling. Remember, this is what I always tell people: you are always selling. Sales is something that sometimes people don't even realize. Like, oh, yeah, I can't imagine them my doing that. Everyone is always selling. If you're married, you sold the person you're married to that you're worthy to be married, right? If you get a mortgage, you're selling the mortgage company that you're going to pay back the loan.
Yes.
If you want your kids to eat
Exactly.
vegetables, you got to sell them on the benefit of eating vegetables, right? People don't realize that's what they're doing. It's there, and so really, what I teach can be used in pretty much anything, but it's all the foundational. The foundation is listening. You have to
Mhm.
listen. You have to really, and not just act it. You have to truly talk to the other individual and want to find out what can change their
Mm.
life. I mean, I've been on sales calls many times when the other individual, the potential future customer, is crying on the phone. They're crying and they tell me, listen, I've never been asked these questions before, not even by my spouse. So thank you for listening to me. Thank you for that. And when that happens, if you're
Yeah.
asked for the sale, you made that connection. And as long as you can provide a value, people are going to buy. That's why I've got high conversion rates, is
Uh,
because I take the time to listen and teach my students to do the same thing. So when you're asking for the sale, it's a natural flow, a natural progression, because people want to say yes. They
uh,
want to say yes. It's not like somebody wants to waste 30 minutes out of the day on a strategy call. Nobody's got that time. They want to say yes, but they don't always trust the person, and especially if they're not being heard. Does that make
mhm.
sense?
Yeah, absolutely.